Hello guys, today we're going to be hanging up a very old Envirofan ceiling fan. This is a model from 1979 and it's actually pretty easily the oldest fan that I have in my collection. I'm not talking like fans in general, I'm talking about ceiling fans. Of course I have portable fans that are much older, but this is the oldest ceiling fan that I have in my entire ceiling fan collection. It's old enough to have this. So, which is a J-hook mount. So you gotta know it's gonna be very old. So I'm gonna go ahead and start getting this fan on the ceiling. Let's go ahead and start off with the J-hook first, which this J-hook didn't come with the fan. It was from my Heritage Industrial that was also in this room at one point. But I'm gonna use this J-hook because otherwise you would have a J-hook that screws into the beam on the ceiling, which I don't really like it. So I'm gonna use this J-hook for now, which I think will work just fine. Alright. Just gonna do it. Yeah, I think that's plenty strong. If it can handle my weight, then it can hold the fan. And if you guys are wanting the informations at all, here they are. Hope you guys can read them. I'm pretty sure this would have been a pretty expensive fan back in its day because this is very heavy. This was actually coming out in the point where fans were becoming popular again. So this has definitely got to be pretty old. Yeah, very nice heavy duty motor. Can't find any fans made today that have that good of a motor. That has got to be very strong, I can guarantee you. So, have to find the wire nut. Here it is, dropped on the floor. So, I think this is light kit adaptable as well, but today won't be the day where we put a light kit on it. Maybe someday down the road in the future, I'll put a light kit on it because I think with the light kit it would look really good. I know this is not the correct length for the ground wires, but as far as insulation exposed, but I don't really care since it's not really connecting to anything other than the bond on the fan itself. I would have much higher expectations for a regular wire, but for purposes of a grounding wire, I will accept it. Okay, no copper showing on there. And this one, which is the live wire. Alright, we need to get a screw for this. part here. I think all the ones on my ladder here are not going to be the right size, but this canopy doesn't sit flush with this anyway, but I don't really care just for a test. If this was a regular installation, I would definitely worry about it, but for purposes of tests, it will be fine just sitting down. So now let's get some blades installed to this, which are also very nice. These are the blades here. They have a nice cane on it. Unfortunately, they're not in the best of condition. They have some scratches on it, but it's been around for 47 years, so or wait, am I right? 1979. Yeah, that was 47 years ago. Gosh, I'm getting old. So the way the blade's installed is there's these nut thingies on them. I think this nut would go on the bottom. This would go on the top because this is a finishing nut and this other one's not. So I'm going to install it with this nut facing down. And I think this was I think like this is the way it's supposed to be. Yep, I think that looks quite all right with that. Wow, okay. There's a slight misalignment there. I was having concerns that maybe these would be the wrong blades, which would not be fun. Although I did not pay much at all for this thing, so yeah. Finish here, also not in the greatest of condition. There's definitely scratches here and there, but again, this is a 47-year-old fan, so we can't expect it to be in perfect condition. Not to mention, this was only $10 at my restore, so not really a super huge deal if the parts are not in the greatest of condition. And I don't know if you guys can notice on video, but the irons on them definitely have some scratches here and there. But one nice thing about ceiling fans is a lot of times, a lot of these imperfections will be barely even visible once it's installed. Now, of course, you could use it with 2 blades like this, but it definitely doesn't look all the way right. So we're going to install it with all 4. Okay, that was actually much easier to have these screws in the blades before putting them on the blade irons. That was much easier. Last blade, and then we're going to be done already. That, and that. Okay. Okay, that's on. That's on. And that's on. Final torque. Okay. Wow, that's only installed in 13 minutes. That was pretty quick install. So I'll move the ladder out of the way. Wow, that looks really nice. Let's go ahead and plug it up, and hopefully it doesn't break or fall or whatever else has happened. Oh, the GFTI is what all right, there we go. Wow. That's definitely moving some good air. I have it on a 5-speed choke. Okay. I'm on a, it seems so heavy, I'm having trouble getting it to spin down. Here we go. Let's take an area of the, I'm gonna go with about, we're gonna go with 8 inches, so our area is gonna be 13.4. Has a little bit of a wobble to it, but it's not too bad. It's pretty loud though. Let's do a CFM test on here. Okay, my manometer set for feet per minute. Let's test it. This thing is varying a lot. We'll go with 590. So, have the iPad here set to my calculator. So we're gonna go with 13.8 because that's the number that we're gonna use, times 590. Look at this. 8,142 CFM. That is way off the charts for something like this. That is very powerful. See where our power draw is? It's drawing 109 watts and 0.89 amps. So it is about spec. So that's high. Or speed 1 on this choke coil, which is counterintuitive. Let's go with speed 2, which is really medium high. Alright, let's go with, do another manometer test. We'll go at 551. So 551 times 13.8 is 7,604 CFM, rounding to the nearest tenth. And our power draw is 93 watts and 0.8 amps on the nose. Speed 3, which is medium, that's normal. Okay, let's do an manometer test. We'll go with 452. So 452 times 13.8 is 6,238 CFM for medium. And the power draw is drawing 73 watts and 0.71 amps. Speed 4, which is really medium low. I'll let it coast down for a little bit. I think it's got to be near now. I think it's safe to say we're going to take a... I think it's safe to say to take a test for medium low. We'll go with 393. So 393 times 13.8 is 5,423 CFM That's like a respectable, uh, that's like a respectable residential fan on high. So the fact it's doing that much even on medium low should tell you this moves a lot of air. And our power draw is 55 watts and 0.62 amps. Now speed 5, which is really low. Slowest it'll ever go. Alright, let's pick a feed per minute test here. We'll go with 256. So 256 times 13.8, 3,533 CFM. So that's about a medium speed for about a respectable fan on medium. This might be closer to probably between a low and a medium speed on a respectable residential fan. So this is really quite a high performance fan. Moves 8,000 CFM on high. This thing is just great. And this thing is drawing 41 watts and 0.52 amps. So for the amount of air that's being moved, it doesn't draw a whole lot of power either. Now, talking about price, I bought this for $10 at the restore. Although I think because this is a four-blade wooden bladed fan and polished brass finish, this I think was a pretty hefty price back in the late 70s. And yeah, 1979 was really the ceiling fan comeback era. And at that time, the cheap ceiling fans were like modern day industrial ceiling fans where it's like 3 metal blades without a light kit at all. And then the higher end ones are like these where it has 4 wooden blades and brass finish. Those were higher end fans back in the late 70s. At least that's what I've been told. Now, I think there is provisions to install a light kit on this. I'm going to turn the fan off here. And I think what you would do is you would unscrew this nut right here, and it would have a light kit adapter inside, so you can install it with a light kit. One of these would look absolutely perfect with a fitter and ball globe. That would look so perfect on one of these, at least in my opinion. The condition of this fan, not really the best. There's definitely scratches here and there, but the brass is largely still shiny, and the blades here are not stinking monochrome. Like these clean blades here, that really tells you, why did we have to go to stinking silver? That ugly finish that has no character, and yet people install anyway. I don't get that. Anyway, this video is going to come to a close, and hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thank you guys for watching. Bye.